What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Niners Empire TV. I'm one of the hosts, Mikola 510, joined by Udi Bands. It's an evening edition. Today, we're going to be talking about pretty much our GM, John Lynch. Has John Lynch been holding the Niners back throughout the years? He's made a few quote unquote trades that weren't up to par, a few quote unquote signings and calls for players that weren't necessary. So I'll get it started, Udi Benz. With John Lynch, I mean, I could say, yeah, in a way he has been holding the team back, especially doing his job as a GM. We know he's made some trades that in our minds we believe that should be given, wish we could rewind them. Like for instance, when he had the with Buckner, DeForest Buckner, when we traded DeForest Buckner to the Colts, we got a low round pick pretty much and stuff like that. Like we didn't really get confiscated like we should. And I think we got like the first rounder from him. We got a first rounder.
Yeah, like a seventh round first rounder.
Yeah, because that year we drafted Ayuk and we drafted Kinlaw, and with Kinlaw hasn't even panned out. I mean, Kinlaw just constantly injured. When he's played, it looks like he shows promise, but then the injuries get to him or his health. It's like hasn't lived up to expectations so far. And Buckner, you see him with the Colts, man. He's putting statistics up every season. He's consistent, so he's consistently helping his team try to win. He's being consistent with his career and stuff like that. So a lot of people, they've called that and said that was a bonehead move by John Lynch. How did you feel about that move when it happened?
I mean, like we did pay Armstead a lot of money. Like we should have found a way to keep Buckner. That was a key piece in our defense. And like you said, he's still producing all these numbers. He could have been producing for us all this time. Like, and that's what we're missing right now. Both our defensive tackles are injured right now. We could have used Buckner, who has always been reliable for us. So I feel like, yeah, that was one of the dumbest moves we have made.
Yeah, I think it was a dumb move because, like you said, I mean, these defensive tackles and these defensive linemen that we have now, they're not really like playing up to par. Like Bosa doesn't have like a wingman or a second player, like where he doesn't have to take up all the load. Like a Buckner, he could be a beast in his own, and come up on the game and be the boss that game and stuff like that. So I feel like you can never in a team's franchise like really underrate a defensive player or take a defensive lineman for granted, especially like DeForest Buckner, because that dude always showed up. He was a hard worker. He was a grinder. He's a team player. The locker room liked him, and I felt like they cut him over because they wanted to pay Armstead a couple less millions, and Buckner got paid a little bit more, not by a lot. That over that, like you let him go, like that's just it's kind of stupid. It's not a logical move. When you got a self-made defensive lineman that's Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber next to Bosa, like that's a 1-2 punch, man. It's not easy to get 1-2 punches like that in the NFL. I feel like another move that John Lynch kind of really ticked me off about was I was like so and so about the what's his name that came D Ford that came from the Chiefs
Yep.
when he signed him, because it was kind of strange when the Chiefs let him go after all that time. I mean, but he's having those back issues, the neck issues. It's not like a lot of like surgery back here, spinal injuries. Like off of that, maybe you would have detected like some kind of red flag. Like how would you have assessed that as a GM, Woody Benz? Would you have took a chance on a player that you let a great team letting him go, but he has a history of injuries, like kind of telling you, you know what, like we're gonna cut him loose. If you want to take your chance with him, but we know what we know about him, that's on you guys.
Yeah. If a team that's a Super Bowl caliber team is releasing a good player, they wouldn't be releasing him just to release him for that value. Like obviously they already knew his history with those injuries, and Niners took that risk and they failed on it.
Yeah, they did take that risk and they kind of just hit him in the face. And then my problem with that is kind of like a part two. Like it just became kind of like a saga because it's like you got the opportunity where like, okay, he's been here 2 years, whatever, 3 years, you could release him and maybe just cough up a little a loss. But it's like instead you go ahead and want to keep him around. You want to keep restructuring this contract, like, and look where he's at now. He's pretty much like retired now. Like it's pretty much money that you just kind of wasted. Even if you paid him less, you kind of wasted it. You could have just took that cap hit that 1 year and just went ahead and released him and freed up money for the following year. So a lot of those moves that John Lynch made are kind of like unlogical. I mean, how'd you feel about that part where, they could either release them, maybe try to move them, like,
I felt like they should have released him way earlier than they did. We holded him for way too long, and I feel like another bad move is McKinnon. We gave him so much money. He was not even
right, right,
proven.
right,
Give him so much money, and he didn't even play for us. He didn't really
right.
didn't play for us all those years either.
For some feeling, I feel like that was a Shanahan move. Like he got in his head about it, but it's like you're the GM, bro. Like at the end of the day, you make the final call. Like we kind of already had a good at the moment. I'm trying to think who we had at the moment, but we had a good running back. We had a decent running back. So it's not like we really needed to go get McKinnon, but McKinnon coming off that great year with the Vikings, and once again, what happened? Injuries. But I think he had injuries when he was on the Vikings too. So it's like we really didn't even get that contract. And then also what I've really been having problem with John Lynch is why the hell are you not addressing the corner position in the offseason every year, knowing that we be having mad injuries. You seen how they just brought back Barrett once again, tore, I think, some kind of ligament ACL, out for the season. Didn't even get on the football field, on the regular game day football field. So it's like I don't know what's going on, man. Mosley out for the season. Like, how do you feel about that? Because we talked in the past, off camera about like John Lynch not addressing the corner situation, like, because we need depth there for sure.
Now that we're on this year, I mean, the only thing I do give him props for is that he brought in Ward or the corner, the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
corner
yeah,
we
from the
basically have
Chiefs,
right now.
yeah,
But we should have brought in more depth besides re-signing Barrett. We already know Barrett's
of
been injured
course.
since his whole career, since he was in the Chargers. So I feel like
Right,
that
right,
was
right,
dumb, bringing him back in instead of trying to get another corner to be having more depth because we have basically young corners besides Mosley and Ward. Now we have even younger that are like really in their second year that are not proven. So we for surely
right,
need
right,
add more
right.
depth.
Right. Yeah, I felt like even this year with the move with McCaffrey, I don't even really feel that was like a John Lynch move. I feel like that was more like a Shanahan telling the organization, "Hey, we need this move," and got at John Lynch, and he made the move. So I don't even give the credit to John Lynch for that. I give it more to the coaching staff on offense, and maybe like some of the people in the front office, and that's about it. But I mean, really, John Lynch is for me his job assessment as he's been here for about 6 years, almost the same time as Shanahan. Like he's really made more errors than good things, to be honest. Like because you got offensive line, you're not. You need to get that boost. I mean, luckily they signed. Like I said, they signed Williams. We brought him back, so that was good, but I feel like they had a couple offensive linemen like Compton and a couple other cats that left, and I was kind of wondering like why they let those offensive linemen walk. They could have got them for cheap, and they were pretty good. They were pretty serviceable for just getting them off of waiver wire in the offseason. So he makes some moves that like they don't make sense at times. So I don't know how you see that with Lynch, like rating his overall him as a GM for the last 6 years, like, how would you really rate his job? Like,
I feel like the only two good moves that he has made was bring in Ward and McCaffrey. But besides that, honestly he has done terrible because he let the O lines go, like you said in the offseason. Those are O lines we need right now. Our run game
right,
was
right,
better
right,
with those O lines, and also he let defensive tackle DJ Jones go. That's some more depth we needed right
right, right,
there.
right.
Jones played
Yeah,
good for us last season. That's another depth we needed right there in defensive tackle. Now that Kinlaw and Armstead are injured.
yeah, because it's funny, like they let go of Hyder the 1 year where Bosa wasn't there. I believe he had like 7 sacks. He had a solid season. And then he ended up going to the Seahawks, and now he's back over here, but he's not having that same year no more. It's like that year he took off and went to a whole different system, messed it up. Like he doesn't have the same Now it's the Marco Ryan system, you know. So it's like he just doesn't have like the same. He's not really on it and stuff like that. So I feel like yeah, DJ Jones. You know, if you have to pay, you gotta pay. You know, you just get him because Armstead. You know, he's battled with his ups and downs. To me, I never thought Armstead like deserved that kind of money. You know, he deserved some money, but not paid at that rate. That's why I had a problem when he let go of Buckner because I'm thinking like for maybe like 5 more million, you could have kept Buckner. But you know, it is what it is, ancient history. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the topic, man. You got anything else you want to address?
I mean, all I gotta say is they better hope that McCaffrey trade they did make they're gonna make sure that shit leads us to the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, pretty much, or it's a busted deal. Well, anyways, we like to thank everybody that watched the video today and came out, man. We like to thank all the people that subscribe. To all the new people that's watching our videos, please subscribe. You know, hit your notification bell and be ready for more videos.